Welcome. You have just tuned in to the book of Jennesis. Get ready to fasten your seatbelts because we are stepping all the way out the box and breaking all the rules. Are you ready? Are you sure? Well, let's get into it. Here is your host, the wonderful, the beautiful, the intelligent, the wise Jennesis.
Hey, y'all. Hey, happy Thursday. And your girl is back with another edition of the book of Jennesis. And y'all, I'm a little tired today. I got my after work clothes on because I had to get comfortable for this. We came back this week for part 2 of the man among men, Mr. Soul Toucher, the poet. Y'all know it's a whole lot of size. He's a multifaceted man. So we get to come back tonight with another glimpse into his world. So we're going to get right on into it, and we're going to bring him on in here so he can share with us the exclusive content that we are getting here tonight on the book of Jennesis. So without further ado, y'all, welcome to the stream. My YouTube cousin, Soul Toucher the poet.
What is up? What is up?
What is good? How are you today?
I'm good. It's been a rough week so far. Not rough, but frustrating because traffic is just getting on my damn nerves this week.
Oh wow. I'm so tired. I have been on my grind. I don't even know what day I'm on. I think I am on day 9 or 10 of working straight. Yeah, so got a purpose and a plan. I'm trying to be debt free by the end of the year, so I had to kick it up a notch.
I hear that.
And the holidays is coming, so I'm like, I need to shed some of this stuff so I can be free. Bring in New Year a different kind of way this time. So
I feel you.
Yeah, I had to get down and dirty with it. So yeah. Hey, Eugene Steele. He is always showing his support.
What's good?
So much, sir. Thank you for tuning in and giving us a little bit of your time tonight and every other night that we come on. So I guess we gotta recap. We went into the history on the previous episode.
Oh my goodness!
And we just hit the tip of the iceberg.
Man, look here.
Hey, Sherelle.
No. What's good, Sherelle? What's good?
Yes. So we hit the tip of the iceberg. We talked about Little Soul Toucher and how he came to be Big Soul Toucher. Well, no, we didn't. Let's go back because we forgot. Where did Soul Toucher come from? Where did the name come from?
Oh, okay. So
we know that ain't your government name. That ain't on your birth certificate.
On my birth certificate. So
yeah.
Where did that come from? So I had I'll say, somewhat traumatic life growing up as a child, as an adolescent, and going into adulthood. So,
hey, Candidan.
When I got off, what's up, Candidan? When I got off active duty, my head was all over the place. So was my body, and my heart, all that, just all over the place.
For the streets.
For the streets, I was worse than the street sweeper in New York City. But so I did therapy before I got off active duty, and I was still dealing with a lot of stuff that that we talked about in part 1. So then I got to the point where I started writing my stuff down, and it took on the form of poetry. And all of the early poetry that I was writing was about my childhood, my pain, and all the stuff that I've been through, and love and the idea of love, the love that I wanted, um, all kind of stuff. So for whatever reason, I would let people read it here and there, but I kept it closely guarded. And people were like, "Oh wow, that's touching. That's this. That's that." And so, out of the blue, I just, hey, soul touching.
Okay. Now, you talked about writing about your pain and all
Mhm.
that. Now what I heard wasn't necessarily about pain. I heard about something else in your poetry.
Yeah, because I have a very vivid imagination. So the things that I've been through as a child, uh, kind of formed my sexual creativity. I mean, it was bad as a child, but as I got older, it started forming my sexual creativity. And then it came to the point where I had a vivid imagination, creativity, and when I would engage with women, I started doing the things that I thought about, the things that I've seen, things that I've been through, and it made me a very lustful person, a very experimental person, and I would just think of just wild stuff that was not harmful, but it was just different, and especially different coming from a black man, because a lot of black men get this, well, average black men out here in the world, we get this stigma that we don't do this, we don't do that, and this, that, and the other, and then when a person of me, like somewhat shy in certain situations, does stuff like that, it's like, oh, what the hell? Like, you did that? So as I started thinking of wild stuff that I thought was funny that I would try, it got to the point where it was really working for me. And so it encouraged me to think of more stuff, and it was easy to put that stuff to paper and put it in a manner that was, for the most part, digestible to the female ear, and intriguing to them. And it was kind of motivating. It's like, oh shit, she likes that. Oh, let me write some more wild shit.
Okay. So you were trying it out on paper
Hmm.
as well as in real life too. I'm
Yeah,
I'm getting a little personal now.
yeah. I mean, because you look at it like this. We already know finances kill a marriage or relationship or whatever,
Hmm.
and lack of creativity in the bedroom is also a relationship killer. And as long as you can take care of your house, you have communication in your house, and this, that, and the other, and as long as you can keep that person sexually fulfilled and entertained and engaged, the likelihood of that person stepping away is, kind of lowered. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna kind of sort of switch gears a little bit here
Okay.
because your poetry
Hmm.
is a little bit wild, a little bit wild, but um you have a military background.
Right.
And usually, military, we think of, proper, everything orderly and, disciplined.
Hmm.
Um, and the poetry is kind of like the wild side or an alter ego, so to speak.
Right.
Because you said, normally you're shy or you're quiet,
Hmm.
and the poetry is definitely not that of
No, it's not.
a quiet person.
Nah, it's not. It's not.
So, was that an outlet of sorts? Hey, Red Lipstick Vibes. Hey, Jill's Chocolate Boutique.
What's up,
Was that
ladies?
an outlet of sorts? Like, because everything else was so rigid and so disciplined, was this a
Mm.
way of, expressing or being free, if
N-
for only for a moment?
No, because when I started writing, I was already off active duty. So that whole regimented military lifestyle was there. Um, but I was in the National Guard at the time. And National Guard is 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year, or deployment, or, schools or whatever that is. So I was more of a civilian at the time when I was
Okay.
writing. Um, and like I said, when I first started writing, only a few people were privy to what I was writing, because the shy part of me did not want it out there too far. Um, I didn't know what people would think about what I wrote, especially the pain that I wrote about. The sexual parts, I was more okay with putting that out there because it was like, if that's like bait on a fish hook. So,
Mm.
um, but as far as that, I still, so I started writing in 97. I didn't start performing at open mics until 2012, 13. Because trust me, I hate getting in front of people. Like,
Hmm.
I get the sweats and all that other stuff. So I hated getting in front. So that's one reason why that was never out there. But once I started going to open mics and doing this, that, and the other, and I got more comfortable, my poetry it went further left than straight.
Okay. And what was the motivation for doing open mics? How did that come to be?
So the unit that I was in at the time, there were two people. They were talking about poetry and stuff, and one of them was hosting open mic, and I was like, "Yeah, I write poetry." He was like, "Hey, why don't you come out sometime?" And I was like, "All right, I'll come out." And he was like, "Why don't you perform?" And I was like, "Oh, no, nah, I'm not getting up there." So probably around the fourth or fifth time that I went, I was like, let me go ahead and get up there and try it. Nervous as hell, but it was receptive, and that motivated me. And then listening to other people up there, that motivated me to expand my writing and do different things, this, that, and the other. And that encouraged me to get more graphic, animated, funny, and all kind of stuff.
Okay. And at the time you started writing, what was your status? Were you married? Were you single? And
When I
how did the people in your life receive, this new endeavor that you were embarking upon?
when I first started writing, I was single.
Hmm.
Well, yeah. As far as married, I was not married. I was single. I was dating. Um, but a lot of the people, um, being that I kept it close, a lot of people didn't, weren't privy to what I wrote or even knew I wrote. But the few people that did, they were, oh, that's good, and it's like, oh, okay, thanks. Um, I participated in it. After a while, I started, looking for stuff, because I always wanted to publish a book back then. Um, but it was harder back then than it is now. So I entered a few contests and stuff like that, and got a couple of them published and stuff like that. And yeah, but yeah, nobody really knew. But once I started writing, it's like the people who my poetry was about, I think they totally ignored the content of it, and what it was going on with me. So I don't think they even looked at it like that.
Okay. So there was one muse or more than one?
It was several muses.
There were several.
Yeah.
Did they ever find out that your, that they were the subject of the poetry?
It depends on what the poetry was about. If it was about sex, love, or something like that, the assumption was always there. Um, I would always get people say, "Hey, write a poem for me," and this, that, and other. It's like,
Mhm.
I'm not going to do that, because if I write a poem for you, you might not like it, because for me, if I'm writing about a person, don't ask me to write about you, because you might ask me at the wrong time, and what I write
Mhm.
may not be what you want to hear at the time. But if I'm in a space and I'm looking at you or whatever the case may be, and hey, let me, uh, it might be something that you'd be like, oh, here's my panties.
Were the writings ever an issue?
In my last marriage, yeah. Um, she was a muse, and I actually have a series of poems called "Fucking Fighting,"
Mhm.
and yeah, those it was. I wrote like 8 of them, and they were definitely about my third wife. And I performed a lot of them, and a lot of people related to what the poem was saying, because it was like, damn, I feel that. Yeah, I feel that.
Mhm.
It was funny, but it was dead ass serious, and a lot of people related to it.
So you said that you were doing open mics,
Hmm.
and because your um, poetry is sexually charged,
Hmm.
were women finding you attractive based on your performances? Were they, flirting or, trying to hook up? You know how they get starstruck and they want
Here
to
and
throw their
there,
underwear on stage and all that stuff.
here and there, I got a couple of numbers. Not I mean, I know you've listened to or read a couple of them.
Mhm.
You would think that from what you read or listened to, you would think that, damn, I know this Joker got mad panties thrown at, but no, it wasn't really that much.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a
When you were in
few. I'm not gonna say it was none, but it was a couple.
when you were in relationships, did they ever get to hear the poetry? Like, because it's erotic,
Hmm.
were they expecting that same eroticism when you all were in
Definitely,
intimate situations?
a lot of it, yeah. A lot of it was um too much for the average woman to handle, but they expected it to a degree. Um, yeah, I'll just leave it at
You
that.
gonna leave it at that? Oh, okay.
Okay, so no, okay, so in a couple of my poems, and I think I published one of them. Well, I know it's in my book, one of my books, but in one of them, I wrote about a woman giving me oral sex, and I come in her mouth and then kiss her right afterwards and suck my cum out of mouth. You know,
Ooh.
some people might not be like, but it's like, hey, if I can do you like that, you can do me like that. I don't
Mhm.
see nothing wrong with it. So, I mean, yeah.
Now, with it being so graphic, at what point you're dating someone new? At
Mhm.
what point do you reveal to her that you write this poetry that is so graphic? And then, do you kind of let them listen and then wait for their reaction or response? How does that go?
Um, Well, if I date anyone, they know I write. They know I got books
Mhm.
published. They know I have poems on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever the case may be. So I don't hold it back or anything like that. And also, it's it's just one of those things that either you accept it or you don't. Um,
Okay.
I'm never, ever, ever, well, uh, never, ever again going to allow a woman to stifle my creativity when it comes to that, because in my third marriage that was a problem. It actually took me out of the mood of writing for about 2 years, because she always thought something was about her. She always thought something was about another woman, and I was going to open mic too much and this, that, and the other, and that caused a problem. um and then when I would get back to writing, it was all uh it was not happy stuff, it was bitter stuff, it was angry stuff. Then I would find time to get out of that zone and get back to my somewhat happy, funny, and sexual stuff. But yeah, if I date someone, hey, this is what I do. Hey, can I read it? Can I listen to it? Blah blah. Hey, here you go. And whatever their reaction is their reaction. And again, look, this is what I do. When I get the vibe, I'm going with it. And if you can handle it, you can handle it. If not, then I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. You said that either they accept it or they don't. Now, we talked about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
What about family, your children?
My family has supported me. They've come out to a couple of the open mics that I've done. They've purchased my books. They've listened to it on YouTube, whatever the case may be. But the
Were they
interesting,
shocked?
not really.
Really?
When it comes to the sexual stuff, they're not shocked at all. Under
What
no,
about your children?
my children, my oldest, he's listened to my stuff. I don't think he's shocked because I
Okay.
mean, he's kind of like me. But my youngest, he has not listened to any of my erotic stuff. He's listened to some of my stuff. He's read some of my stuff, but never the erotic stuff. He's a good kid. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
not he's not like me and his brother. He's a good kid.
Okay. Now, what about in the workplace? Because this is this alter ego of sorts.
Oh my
Then
god.
do you let your employer know that this is what you do in your spare time, or do you separate the two and kind of live a double life, so to speak?
So the funny thing about that, so I'm a government contractor.
Hmm.
And so I was doing all this before I started working there. And well, throughout the time I was working there as well. And a lot of a lot of my coworkers were, Facebook friends, this, that, and the other. Um, the reactions that I get from them is hilarious. I get all kind of jokes about, oh, you nasty this, oh, you who panties you stealing this time, and blah. And the funny thing is, they mostly comment on the erotic stuff and the funny stuff. They never comment on the serious stuff.
Okay.
The childhood stuff, the adult stuff. If it's funny or erotic, I get all the jokes and all this and all that. But other than that, nah, they don't. They just look at me like, oh, boy, you crazy.
Okay, so you started writing, as a pastime.
Hmm.
You started going to open mic, and you took it even further
Hmm.
and made a book or wrote a book.
3 books actually.
3 books, excuse me,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
stand corrected. He wrote
yeah,
3 books.
yeah.
So not only is he a poet, he is a published author of 3 books, not one, not two, but 3 books as well.
Yeah.
How do you go on that journey? How did you end up on that journey?
So I wish I would have grabbed my. Uh, Actually, it's over there. Wait, let me go grab it right quick.
Okay. Brief intermission. Right. I know Jill's Chocolate Boutique 3. Awesome. Who knew? All the time. We thinking he a content creator. He just quiet. He lay in the cut. He add his content here, his commentary here or there. And all the while he keeping all these secrets from the YouTube streets, right?
Oh, I do not keep secrets.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
It's the quiet ones you gotta watch.
Oh my good, stop it. All right, so this is the binder that I was talking about when I first started writing.
Okay.
Um, these are all of my first poems. I wrote all of these when computers had floppy
Oh,
disks.
the entire binder. It looks like it's
Yeah,
full.
yeah, all these pages.
Wow.
So yeah, this was my thing. And that's where I put all my first poetry. And I was like, I want to publish a book. But at the time, it was like hard because self-publishing wasn't one of those things. So, and I was always scared because I was shy, I was insecure, I didn't know what people would think, I didn't think I could do it. And then again, when I started going to the open mics, that's when I started getting more motivated. And I was still like, damn, I want to write a book. I want to publish a book. So started talking to people, and one person said, hey, well, why don't you try this one thing? You don't have to pay to do it. And it's like the records, you sell books, you can get royalties. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then I was like, all right, I went and researched it. I gathered up a whole bunch of poems, threw them together, and figured out how my cover was going to be, and published my first book. And that was it. And that's this one right here.
Okay. Taste My Poetry, Taste My Soul by Soul Toucher the Poet. Okay. And
Yeah.
it's shameless plug moment now. Where
Yes.
do they find
You can find all 3 of my books on Amazon.
all 3 on Amazon?
Yes.
So y'all head on over to Amazon, check out his store, support a brother. He got kids to feed.
Yes.
Buy a book or 2 or 3.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you published, went on Amazon. Okay, now you got 1 book out.
Yeah. So this
That
book was
ain't good
published in 2015. I got caught up in the mental hype of, I published my first book. I got about 1,000 friends on Facebook and this, that, and the other. I got family here. I got friends that I've known for 30 years, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's going to buy my damn book. People bought the book, but
not those thousands of friends.
Yeah, not them thousands of friends. And it's like, it took me a while to digest that. And then, I was looking, and I ran into a YouTube video that was talking about publishing books and this, that, and the other. And they said, if you publishing it for the sales and all this, that, and the other, you're going to disappoint yourself. That humbled me. And I was like, you know what? This is something that I've wanted to do for years. I did it. I accomplished it. I can say I published a book, and it will be there until the end of time for people to consume. And that was that.
But now when your family don't support you,
yeah,
it be your own people.
It be your own people. And that's and that
supposed to support you before anybody.
Yeah, I mean, they did support me, my immediate family, but it's like other family, it's like, damn, you can't spend like a couple of dollars to support your boy. It's like, you beat my ass when I was little. You can't at least buy a book to get that, few of them lashes off my ass. Like, come on,
But now when you see these family members who didn't support you, like, do you have animosity? Because I would be like, look, you come buy my book, you couldn't support me, then don't even speak to me. I'm petty like that.
Yeah, I have, and my animosity comes from a different place because of my childhood and all the BS that I've been through, and to get to the point where, okay, I'm publishing a book, a lot of these family members who either just ignored me, did me dirty, or whatever the case may be. And now you're smiling in my face as an adult, but you can't buy this book. It just takes me back to some of that bitterness that I had from, growing up as a child. It's like, damn, you still doing me dirty. It's like, I don't ask for much. Like, come on, spend a couple dollars on a book. But yeah.
Did you experience envy? You know how some people think that, you accomplish something like that and you're going to get big headed and, they say, oh, you changing, or, you ain't like you used to be.
I wouldn't say that. I would, the thing that publishing a book helped me do is it showed me more of how much more we don't have in common, as far as a lot of family members, because, it's like, for me, this is a major goal. To them, some of them, it's a small thing. To me, it's important. To some of them, it's not. And it's like, everything that a person does to grow and accomplish something and provide, a look for someone else saying, oh, damn, he did it, I could do it. I think it's a great thing. But it's like, some people are stuck in certain places, and it's like, I see that there's still a gap between us. And it's like, I this is a goal of mine and I'm going to keep doing it. And I see y'all doing the same thing over and over again. So it didn't cause envy. It just showed me that, you know what, some people just don't want to, take a bite of life and expand themselves as far as, family goes.
Okay. So after you get over that initial fear or trepidation about publishing the first book, then you went on to do 2 more.
Yes. And I'm mad I don't have the third one with me, but 2 years after the first one, I published the second one.
Ballads of, I can't see that.
Ballads of a Poeteer.
Poeteer. Okay.
Okay. So the first one, I just threw a whole bunch of poems in there. The second one was more targeted, and a lot of those are just love poems, love and relationship poems. So, I had a focus when I did that one. It was easier to do, but harder to do because I was looking for more perfection out of that one.
Okay. And book number 3?
Book number 3 is called The Book of King, Thoughts, Quotes, and Invocations. So what I did with that one was I went through my Facebook page. I probably went back like 5, 6, 7 years. And back then I was always writing quotes, just quotes of my own. So I collected them and then I found the ones that I had in Google Docs. So I compiled all of them and put them in a specific order and in chapters and this, that, and the other. And my third book is just thoughts, quotes, and invocations.
Okay.
Yeah, a whole book of them.
So out of 3 books worth of material, do you have a favorite piece?
A favorite piece?
A favorite.
Ay. I would have to say fucking fighting is my favorite piece out of my first book.
Fucking fight. Okay.
Right, just right off the top of the head, that'd be my favorite piece because it's the most serious, but one of the most funny.
Okay. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I want to put you on the spot. Can we get a snippet
of what?
Of that poem that you just mentioned.
All right. Yeah, we can get a snippet of it.
Give a snippet of that one. We're holding out for the exclusive content.
All right.
Work our way up to that.
All right. Here we go. All right. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and read the whole goddamn thing.
All
right. This one is called Fucking Fighting. We fight, we fuss, we fight, we fuck. Don't fight, don't fuck, we fight. I'm tired of fucking fighting. You never want to fuck when we're not fighting. Then again, we're never fucking. I guess that's why we keep fighting. I'm not going to fight you just to fuck. And I'm not going to fuck to keep from fighting. Well, how the fuck do we keep from fighting? Why the fuck do you want to fight about fucking? When half the time you're not in the fucking mood to fuck. And I'm tired of fucking fighting you about fucking and fighting. But no matter what, we're always fucking fighting. Then you have more fight than fucking you. And I fight because I'd rather be fucking you. You get mad in a fight because I say fuck you, but I don't get mad in a fight when you say fuck you too. Now, I don't give a fuck about this fighting shit because you act like you give a fuck when I say I quit. Fuck. We spent a week with all this fucking fighting, and not one fucking fighting day was spent with any makeup fucking. I'm extremely tired of fucking fighting and too tired to fucking fuck. Who the fuck fights about fucking? Who the fuck fights without a fucking resolution? Fucking resolution should prevent fucking fighting. Fight the fucking and fuck the fighting. Can we say fuck this fighting and get back to fucking? Or else it will get to the point of fuck fighting and fuck fucking. Fuck you, fight you, fuck you. Then we won't have to fight or fuck because we don't fuck or fight. So I'm not going to fight because we're not fucking, nor give a fuck about fighting, and definitely not going to fucking fight to keep from fucking because this fucking fighting is pointless.
Oh wow. So Lord Jesus. I feel like I need to wash my mouth out with soap. So now,
Oh man.
okay, I can see why she felt a type of way about that.
Yeah, she felt some type of way about that.
How do you come back from that?
There was, at that point, there was no coming back from anything. Like we was on the. I had mentally, physically, and emotionally detached from that marriage at that point, and yeah, that was we was on the Splitsvilles at that point.
Okay. Just fighting and not effing.
Yeah.
Whew. Candidan, I am with you. Whoa. Whoa.
Oh man.
Okay. Now how you go to church after that?
Who, me?
You.
I didn't go to church after that.
Say, hi, Pastor.
No.
Pastor asks you what you do this week. What's up? What's new? Oh, I wrote a book. What you write the book about? I got poetry. We talking about effing and fighting.
Yeah.
Nah. I hope that was in a backslidden state.
That was an end of marriage state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, moving right along. I didn't even know where to go from there. Now, I am never at a loss for words. Like, okay.
And I'm shocked that you at a loss for words. Like, come on now.
Follow that up.
You're killing me.
Okay. We're going to maybe switch to something more serious.
Uh-huh.
So, another serious piece of work or a funny one.
Oh my God. Let's see.
Jill's talking about, girl, I don't know what to do now.
Oh my God. Let's see.
Like my language is a little colorful, but Lord Jesus.
On that. Something serious. How serious do you want me to get?
I don't know. Whatever you're willing to share with it.
Oh, okay. Let me see this one. This one is called Tears of a Father.
Okay.
Many years have passed and I still see your birth. I can actually say I was there to bring you into this world. But now the years have passed on by, and throughout those years, I have to take a moment to wipe the tears away from my eyes. I don't regret having you. I only regret the procedure that I went through. I was new to the world and didn't know myself. What was I supposed to do? I don't know. I didn't know anything else. But you are in this world, a world in which we are supposed to be conquering as one. Disagreement has torn us apart and placed us in two different realms. And after all that was said and done, I feel like I don't have access to you, my firstborn son. Whose fault is it? Sometimes I feel the blame should be placed all on me. Over the years, I realized that I'm only human. I cannot carry all of the weight. The thing I hate most is that some of the words I've said sit on my chest with the weight of a ton. I love you, little man. Honestly, I do. Sometimes I wonder if things would be different if you weren't in my life. I often wonder how I would feel if that feeling of not being able to handle this situation would get to me. The feeling haunts me all the time. That bad thing to me is that I cannot make up for the missed time. Even worse, I don't have the willpower to create a better future. I think of all the times when I wish a father were all I had. I didn't. You're growing up the same way I did, so does that make me a deadbeat dad? Not really, because I give a little support, a little. You know, the little bit is a crime in most people's eyes. The guilt that is placed upon me about that truly tears me up inside. Believe me, I wish it were better. I wish it were possible for us to spend time alone together. At this rate, it will never happen. Well, not until you are at least at the age where you can make your own grown up decisions. But I do shed a tear or two when I get depressed. The tears of a father suffering from mental unrest. I don't want you to ever think that I don't love you. Loving you is not ever going to be a bother. I am ashamed to say that my love for you is mostly shown in the tears of a father.
Wow.
Yeah, that was one of my earlier poems.
Okay. I got no words. I got nothing. Right. Jill's Chocolate Boutique said, "Oh, you tugged on my heart with that one."
I can't believe you're at a loss for words again.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. You know, the babies are near and dear to my heart, and
Hmm.
I felt that as you were reading.
Yeah, that was one of
Wow.
my that was one of the times, when I first started writing, and you know after my first divorce, and she was in Arkansas, I was here, and
Mhm.
all of that. Um, and being a first time father and not being able to physically be there, that was a rough point.
Mhm. Now, I noticed as you were sharing your works that your style of writing,
Uh-huh.
how did you choose that? Like, some of the different poetry has a particular cadence that,
Hmm.
as they're reciting.
Hmm.
How did you choose your particular style? It's kind of like storytelling,
Hmm.
or I don't know I don't know poetry, so I don't know what they call your style of writing.
I don't know what I would classify my style of writing is, but I typically write as if I'm thinking or talking to myself, or talking to someone.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much my style of writing for the most part.
Now, have you done any pieces of work that have I don't do good with impressions. So, how some of them, the words rhyme, or, you know,
Yeah. I've done a few of those. I've tried to stay away from them.
mhm,
More so because it's like I didn't when I first started writing, I started writing like that. And as I started writing more and more and more, I learned that it does not have to rhyme.
right,
As long as there's a meaning to the entire thing, it doesn't have to rhyme. And it's kind of like having a conversation with you. I'm not going to talk to you and every sentence that I say to you is going to
right.
rhyme. So, as long as I can convey a message and
Mhm,
it's received, it's a poem. Um, and I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh wow, your writing is good. I can never do that." I'm like, "Yes, you can. Just
mhm,
write what you're thinking." And I've had like three or four people become great poets.
mhm,
It's all about writing what you're. It's kind of like writing in a diary. Um, you write with a specific purpose, and you come to the conclusion that when you're writing, you're either going to write for you or you're going to write to present. But
mhm.
it can be interchangeable depending on how you look at it.
And when you're presenting, are any of those ever like set to music? Are you just, reading from the pages, or, from memory,
Uh,
or
um,
what does a performance look like?
Oddly enough, I never ever memorize anything that I write. Um, I never memorized because I had found myself writing so much, that I would have to stop writing in order to memorize, a set, which is, like maybe two, three, or five, depending on the environment. Um, I've never performed to music. The only time that I've ever put music to my poetry is if I was sitting here making a poetry video and I was editing myself. That's the only time I've ever put my stuff to music.
Okay. Okay. Lord. Um, that was so deep and so heavy. I feel like we need to lighten the mood around here. Like, okay, where the funny stuff?
Oh my God. Let me see if I can find something
Ugh,
funny in here. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Let's see.
like everybody got the tear jerkers. We got
Oh
the
my
tears in the
God.
corner of our eyes, melting our eyeliner and stuff.
Oh my
I
goodness.
ain't nobody tell you to do that on a Thursday night.
Yeah, you did.
I
Yeah,
did
you
really,
did.
didn't
You
I?
really did. Oh man. Eesh.
I didn't know serious was gonna be that serious.
Oh man, I don't really have the funny stuff in here.
Don't have the funny stuff. Okay.
No, I don't have the funny stuff in here.
Okay, well, we're gonna skip over that then.
Okay.
This is the book of Genesis. Nothing goes as planned. You never know what you're gonna get. It's unscripted, so it is what it is, y'all. Happy Thursday.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
I guess we've waited long enough. So I understand you prepared something especially
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, I did. And yeah. I had to I actually finished it today. And I had to draw a stopping point
Hmm.
because sometimes what happens is I'll go on a tangent and it'll go all over the place. And yeah, so this started going all over the place, so I had to reel it in and stop.
Okay. Okay. So I listen, I don't know what I'm doing with this YouTube thing because I have bought all this equipment and nothing is hooked up.
Oh
So
my.
I feel like I should have like the sound machine so I could do the drum roll and all the sound effects. Ain't got none of that hooked up.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it is what it is, y'all.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna get into this one. It's a little erotic.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of the lines you might have to so um if okay, so what I've learned doing open mics is if there's a line said that you need to hear again, say rewind.
If there's a line said, okay.
All right. Um, I'm not going to pay attention to the chat. So if someone in the chat says rewind, let me know.
Okay.
All right. I don't have a title for this, but here it goes. I spent mental years auspiciously kissing your heart, your mind, and your soul. I was attempting to decipher the exact moments when your body became receptive to my gestures. I'm not much of a mathematician, but through deductive reasoning, I calculated that when my lips were 5/10 of a millimeter from your flesh, I could feel your body shudder. Our pheromones mix like molecules colliding in the vacuum of space, creating the sun, the moon, the stars, and the dynamic propulsion of gravity. As my chin hairs glide across your clitoris, I gently exhale onto your pubic area, causing your hips to twitch with hysteria. Then I ask you to part your legs open as slow as the sun rises so the sweet scent of your pussy can hypnotize my nose hairs to its submissive state. I ask myself, am I staring at heaven or am I gazing at the golden gates? In either case, I can't wait to lay my tongue down like a drawbridge so your nectar can saturate my papilla. When you come with me, I want you to come with me because I demand that you come with me as you say, Daddy, come in me. I asked you for a little something tasty, so you grind your cakes all over my face like Annie Mae in a diner. Then you became a Turner like Tina and licked it all off and fed it back to me, sensually, like that scene in the movie Penitentiary. I need you to understand that in this precious moment, I contend with the comprehension of your apprehensions while I whisper my intentions into the small crease of neck fat that protrudes when you lean your head back to me in prayer. You ask for God, I give you the Holy Ghost. You ask for time, I take it slow. Now give me 30 seconds to encapsulate your clitoris with my tongue. You clasp your hands behind my neck and pull me close to ensure you get the best head you can ever imagine, the best head that you've ever seen. But the seeing you're seeing is only your brain because your eyes roll back so far that you see your orbital frontal cortex. You look a little perplexed as if I said something foreign to you. But get this, I'll leave an impression on you so poignant that you will have diurnal nocturnal emissions even when you're not near me. To put that in layman's terms, your night orgasms will last throughout your days. Reciprocally replaying them through your mind like reruns, I spun you into a precarious situation on my lap and you slowly clapped back as if you were busting shots. Then I began to bust back across your back until you fell back and I strategically put shots on your belly. You massaged my seeds into your belly like you were in your first trimester until I sequestered my positions above you. I kissed and licked you from your navel to your throat until we were eye to eye. You asked to be touched, and I caressed your soul. We engaged in subtle laugh as we came some more, but as we come some more, we're reminiscent of s'mores at a campfire. I'm that deep chocolate. You're that golden graham. My cum is like the marshmallow between us. I lay limp on top of you in these flaccid moments. I'm still able to make you come hard.
I got to clutch my invisible pearls because I think my ears is too young for this.
Oh my.
Lord Jesus. Jill's Chocolate Boutique. She said, Lord. So, girl, I'm right with you. Like,
Oh
okay.
my.
Yeah, that's very descriptive.
Yeah, and that's one of the calm ones. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the calm ones.
Oh, Lord.
She said, wait a damn
Lord,
minute.
wait a minute.
She said, Uncle Soul, wait a damn minute. Oh my God. Yeah.
Hey, we all like Eugene Steele said, nice.
Thank you.
Lord. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to rewind. Like, you have a courage that I would not have.
What do you mean?
Because I could not write or recite something like that
Really?
around family or children. Like,
I'm a fight Miss Creative.
you are right, Miss Creative. Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Like, how are you? I mean, because you're very expressive.
Yeah.
They know all your thoughts. They know what you're doing.
You know, it took a lot of time for me to develop into writing that expressive. It took a lot of time for me to be comfortable expressing it. You know, I feel the perspiration on my head, but like I said, if you can keep someone entertained, engaged in the bedroom, especially mentally and emotionally, you know, you got something there. And when I started writing, that's what I tapped into, you know, to capture the attention of the listener.
Okay, so now I'm gonna piggyback off of Miss Creative's comment. She said that's why you had multiple women.
Oh my goodness.
Women's with an S. Yes, that's what we said.
Yeah, she said women's with the S.
Women's with an S. We ain't trying to get too personal, but we gonna get personal.
As we did, as we will.
Are you talking like this in the bedroom?
Yeah. I have talked some of that in the bedroom. Yeah. And because I have talked some of that in the bedroom, it actually crept into some of my poetry. Like, for example, women say things when they're being, you know, touched and stuff like that. For instance, like a woman might say, "Oh God," and a person like me in my benevolent ignorance would be like, "Don't you call another nigga's name when I'm touching you."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've and one thing that I've learned and I've understood because I've written this way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Women say, I want a man to be quiet. Some say they want a man to be quiet. But if you say the right things at the right time in the same right tone, it it can induce an orgasm.
Okay. And when you're saying, I know here you were reciting
Mhm.
a piece of work for us.
Right.
When you're saying these things in the bedroom, is she replying in a like manner? Or
It depends on the
because
woman.
I don't know how I would be able to handle that if somebody was spitting like that, you know,
See, the thing about
in
it
the
is
moment.
you're not having a whole, like the way I was reciting that, you're not having that style of sex talk with a person.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying little things here and there, or she's saying little things and you're responding. So it's like,
Okay.
it's not a whole conversation. No, Lord, no, it's not a whole conversation unless you just like, y'all just, hey, let's get it in real quick. But if you for me, if I'm making a statement in that moment, then uh, I'm gonna say it in a specific way, but it's not gonna be too much. And I may say something in a manner where she doesn't exactly hear me, but she wants to hear me. So then I repeat it in a manner like, matter of factly and sensually, or aggressive, mildly aggressive, but with a smoother tone. And it's like, that's when you get the scratches on your back, or, stuff like that.
Okay. Now, I'm going here, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to go. How I want to go down this road.
Oh, Lord.
um, so we know in today's age there
Mhm.
is sexting that happens.
Right.
So, are you doing the pre-play or foreplay in this way with the, like, you were very graphic in your poem?
Mhm.
Are you warming up with in a similar style
In the room
in
or
your
sexting?
personal relationships? Does this carry over?
Honestly, that depends. I will say if it's a woman that I'm attracted to
Mhm.
and we're vibing like that and we have that kind of situation, most of the time, yeah. Um, and oftentimes it's reciprocated. If it's not reciprocated, no, not even wasting that type of energy, because it's like, if I'm be like, you know what? I'm gonna say some, you know, sensual stuff, some slick shit that I wrote in my poetry, or something slick might just come to mind, and I say that, and if she doesn't, if she doesn't respond to it, I'm like, mm.
But if this is what you do and you're a poet, and say she's not, and she doesn't reciprocate because that's not her thing, then what?
So here's the thing. I'm not speaking to her as a poet. I'm speaking to her as a man who is trying to get her in, trying to entice her in some type of
Mhm.
way. So I take the poet and put the poet in the corner, and I say, hey, let me say such and such and such and such. Or, for example, hey, baby, let me suck the sweat off your titty. And depending on the reaction that I get from that, it can be like, okay, well, now if she laughs and does something like that, then it's like, all right, game on. You know,
Mhm.
Let me find some other slick stuff to say, or let me, start warming her up, or even if it's through a text and she responds a certain way, then it's like, all right, cool. I see we vibing. But if the response is flat, whether in person or through a text or whatever, then it's like, all right, well, maybe I'll try something else and if it's not, if this woman is not receptive to that, then it's like I gotta back off because I have a really short attention span when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm a freak,
Now,
Miss Freak.
we talked about in the previous episode that yes, Miss Creative, he is. She said, so is doggone freak. Yes, he is. Now, we talked in the previous episode about you was for the streets.
Yes, I was for the streets.
You was for the streets.
Mhm.
So now hearing your writings, I'm just putting myself in the woman's shoes.
Ah.
I got a man that is for the streets,
Uh-huh.
and he is writing like this. I'd have been all up through the phone. I got on the black jogging suit, the black sweats. I'm in the dark corner, in the dark alley watching
Why?
because
Why?
you at the open mic night talking like this.
Oh my God. So
Like, did that make any of those women insecure or
I
no, Miss Creative, this is not. This is my YouTube cousin. See now, Miss Creative, don't be starting nothing, girl.
Wait a minute. A
I
favorite?
said on shows that I'm single and mingling, but I got a favorite. She's trying to ask this is the favorite. No,
That's my YouTube cousin.
we on lock. See, he said you might have to bring all this to the next pajama party.
Hey,
LOL.
I'm down for it, and I got some other stuff to bring with me.
No, if that never caused a problem, like I don't know if I would be able to handle that as a woman if the person I was with was, somewhere reciting erotic poetry to a room full of people, and we know as single
Right.
women, as YouTube call it, all the black women single. So you going performing before all these women. Nobody ever had an issue.
So the thing about it is this: one, whether you are male or female reciting erotic poetry, you have to be with a very secure person.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started performing my erotic poetry, I was at the tail end of my third marriage. So it didn't matter what she said or what she thought. I didn't care. The whole time that I was going to open mics, I was probably in 2 serious relationships.
Mm-hmm.
One that I was with, she was in the poetry scene, so it was not an issue. Another one that I dated, she would go with me to open mics, and she knew what I wrote, so it wasn't an issue. The only issues that I ever ran into when it came to that is, people who wanted to be that woman, and they're taking in what I wrote, and it was like, oh, I'm curious, I want to see what's up, and it's like, I'm right here.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily about the person that you're with. It's about how that could be received
Yeah, I
by
mean,
other women.
it could be,
Because it's so graphic.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing that I have learned out there is that some women don't experience what I wrote in the bedroom. They think they want it, but they don't experience, and they could be in relationships or not. And it's like, oh damn, I wonder if he's really like that in bed, and that's where all that came from. But again, it happened, but it was not a whole lot. And I can honestly say, throughout my performing time, I probably only picked up 3 women.
Okay.
Well, 3 women picked me up.
And that's surprising because we know some people are just not well. We know that there are some thirsty women out there that, the least little thing You know, they got the wedding planned, 2.5 children and, everything.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're reciting first person,
Mm-hmm.
then if they are that woman, they could think, oh, he's talking to me. I know I don't know how I'm gonna use this analogy because of the topic that we're talking about. But we know that sometimes, pastors and preachers experience that when they're getting a message, then the woman is thinking that he's talking directly to her and that the message is for her. So
Right.
with you reciting and saying, I want to do this, I want to do that. If she's in that crazy space and she's thinking, hey, he want to do this to me, and they act on it, or they become flirtatious. You may have been secure with whoever you were with, and she may have been secure with you, doing your thing before the outsiders. And many times, when there's the distrust, it may not be on the part of the two people in the relationship, is they don't trust the outsiders.
Yeah. I totally get that, but luckily for me, I didn't have that issue.
Okay.
Like one of the women that chose me, she actually waited till after, my marriage was like really gone before she approached me. So
Mhm.
other than that, it was, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Not for me.
Now, we won't be nosy. We want all of the tea.
Oh,
You
God, not,
said the three came. Okay. Hey, Marcus, you said that the three came. How did they come? I mean, what?
um, subtly at first, a couple of them. Well,
Okay.
couple, no, not three. It was five. My bad. Five. Um, One came at me, and the rest kind of like small talk. And it was like, we're at an age where we know what's up. I know why you're coming to me. I just dropped this erotic piece or, a funny piece or a love piece. And I'm the new kid on the block. And it's like, I want to see what's up with you. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's either small talk or straight up, hey, I want to see if you do what you say in your poetry. And it's like,
And she want to know if you about that life for
know you
real.
about that life. I mean, are you gonna suck my titty sweat from under my breast? Are you gonna lick my back? Are you gonna lick my eyeball or whatever? Yeah. So yeah, I did get asked those questions. That expectation was there, or it was just that, oh, you wrote something that turned me on. I just want to roll around in the bed with you a couple times. Let's see what's up.
So Eugene Steele said, when I listen to smooth erotica poetry and stories, I try to imagine myself as one of the characters in it. But I like the slow, romantic erotic poetry. I think it is sexier than just bam, bam, bam.
I agree. I've done both, and I guess it's the audience that I was with. It was received the same,
Mm-hmm.
but I will lean the more slow, erotic, more creative, eccentric. Um, that was taken a whole different way because it's like, some things, some people just never, ever, ever thought of hearing, doing, or seeing. Yes, people watch. What she say? Oh,
Miss Creator said, "Oh, freaks! I guess that's why they had Freaknik."
yeah, but it's certain things that you hear that you may have wondered about, but if it's spoken like Eugene still said, like smooth, slow, um, when you hear certain things that may sound off the wall, if it's put in a smooth, slow way, that central be like, damn, he made that sound so sexy. So yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely agree.
Okay. Now where do we go from there?
As
Where
far
do
as
we
what?
go from there? Like
What do
how
you-
I'm gonna follow that?
uh, I don't know. You just
We didn't get to a whole lot of other things, and we should have talked about some other things before that, because it's like, okay, we went there now. What we about to
um
talk about next?
I don't know. Yeah, that'd be one hell of a transition.
And look, we on like say breakfast in bed. No, we can't go there.
Ah,
Um, but that is what you know what? That is a segue to next question.
okay.
The ladies want to know, you single, you
Yes, I'm
mingling,
single.
do you cook?
Hell yeah, I cook. Look, let me tell you. Yes, I cook. I can
All
get in the
right, now y'all
kitchen.
heard it.
I can
He
get in the
cooked.
kitchen and blaze. I can get on the grill and blaze. I cook because my thing is this: ain't no woman in this house, so it, I'm not gonna eat out all the time. So I gotta cook. And my thing is this: as a man, if you can't cook the things that you like the most, there's a goddamn problem.
All right.
Period. There's a problem.
Period with the T on the end.
Yes, yes. And I stress that as much as I can. I'm like, bro, you can't cook. Like, what is wrong with you? How you gonna have a girlfriend or wife or anything like that and you can't cook? What if she don't feel like cooking?
Okay. That's interesting.
Why is that interesting? That to
Well,
me, that's normal.
you know how these talking points go.
Nah,
Cooking is the woman's responsibility.
nah,
She's supposed to be barefoot pregnant in the kitchen cooking.
nah. But I had a vasectomy, so she can't be pregnant. So
So then it's okay for you to be in the kitchen cooking too,
look,
huh?
she might not be. She might look. She might not feel like cooking, and I might want something specific.
Mm-hmm.
And if she don't feel like cooking, and I want something specific, I'm gonna go do it. And plus, you know, some women like the food that I cook. So it's like
Okay.
shit. If I can go throw you a steak in there and it come out, it fall off the bone or whatever the case may be, and I get some goodies afterwards, I'm a cook.
Okay. So that brings me to my next question. Roles in a relationship. Do you believe in traditional roles? There are none, or a mixture of both?
I say a mixture of both. Like there's certain things I don't expect a woman to do.
Mm-hmm. What are
Um,
those things?
like if I'm around, I don't expect you to take out the trash.
Okay.
Um, I don't expect you to uh, jack a car up and do maintenance on the car. Um, but I expect you to know your way around a car. Um, as far as laundry, um, look here, that's a contentious thing with me. Because I do not like women to do my laundry. I do not like it. Um, because I have mild case of OCD, self-induced. If you don't wash my clothes right, if you don't dry them right, if you don't fold them right, you got to stop. And I've had that problem.
Holding them right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the military part.
That's the
So
military.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. But other than that, I mean, if something needs to be done, do it. You know, when it comes to roles, the reason why I really I'm not feeling those traditional role things is because as a single man, you know, I do things in here that would be traditional roles for a woman. And it's like, you come into my world, I'm not going to just stop doing those things because you here. And for a woman, you know, if she's single, there's, traditional roles for a man. And just because a man comes in there doesn't mean she just stops doing those things. Now, of course, there's certain things that if a man is around, a woman should not have to do. But hell, if I'm at work and it needs to be done, why are you going to wait like 3-4 hours for me to get home when it can be done? It just don't make sense to me. And vice versa. Like if we're together and she has kids, and let's say she want to go hang out with the girls, or she got to work late, I'm not going to wait for her to come home to cook for the kids or get the kids bathed, or if they need clothes washed or lunches packed. I'm not going to wait for her to come home and do that. I'm gonna just knock that out. Be like, all right, I got that. Light work.
Okay. Moving right along. A black man that kayaks.
Yeah.
He kayaks, y'all.
Kayaks.
If y'all not following his Instagram, follow his Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks so serene. When you're out on the water.
Yeah. And so how I got into that was, like I said, my youngest son and his little brother, which is not my son, they were staying with me because his mother was down in Florida for work. So I was like,
wait. Pause.
Yes.
You had your son and his brother, who is not your child.
Right.
You were caring for them both.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, what am I going to do? And I wanted to take them to work with me because I work in DC, and I wanted to take them to the museums, but my alarm goes at 4:45, and I looked in there on my son. I was like, "You getting up, coming to work with me?" He was like, "No, Dad." I was like, "All right." So I went to work, and my boss was like, "Take off the rest of the week. You got them boys with you. Go do something with them." So I ordered the paddle boards, but my son had to go back to Delaware because he had something to do. So they had went back. So I was like, all right, shit, I'm gonna take these paddle boards out on the water. So I'm out on the paddle boards. I'm having a blast, and I see, all the other colored people out there, and this, that, and the other. And then a friend of mine who's black in Boston, he kayaks. So I was like, let me get a kayak. So I got my paddle boards, threw them in my truck, left straight from the water, went to Dick's Sporting Goods, got me a kayak.
Now, when a black man walks into the Dick's Sporting Goods saying, "Hey, I'm interested in buying a kayak," are you getting, looks?
From the employees, not so much, but from the customers, yeah. Because, as we all know, black people have different looks. And a black person that is of the hood variety, black persons that are of the suburb variety, and then we have blacks that are of the more domesticated variety. So me, yes, I was getting those kind of looks. And when they was loaded into my truck, the black people that identified with my variety, they looking at me like, this nigga got a kayak. And it was funny because it was like I'm in my own world, but in my peripheral, I'm like, oh, they looking at me like I'm crazy as shit.
We don't go in the water.
The funny thing is, yes, we do go in the water. I say the same thing about scuba diving. I know a lot of black people that go scuba diving. I'm like, I'm not taking my black ass down there. I can't swim faster than a fish, and people are like, oh, it's fun. It's fun. It's like, you see the color of my skin? No, I'm not doing it. But yeah, I started kayaking.
I've done scuba diving, and I must say it is a beautiful experience. If you have not done it, you absolutely should.
And you talking about me kayaking. Yeah, right. But yeah, I started looking on Facebook for kayaking groups around, and ironically, there are a lot of black kayak groups and a lot of black people that kayak. Like in DC, there's a whole black group in DC that does it. But the one thing, once I got out there on that water, it's serene, it's peaceful, it's relaxing, it's exercise, it's therapy, It's all of those things. Like once you get comfortable and you get out there and you just sit there and listen to the water, listen to the birds, listen to the boats go by and look at the sky. I can say that is one of the best forms of therapy and low impact and exercises that I've ever done.
When you go out there, do you just zone out, or are you there like listening to the sounds of nature, bird watching, that type of thing? What are you doing when you're out on the water?
When I get out on the water, since I just started like a month and a half ago, oh my gosh, she's funny.
Miss Creative is so funny. She said they almost drowned. Baby, I went kayaking once, and me and my friend got to fussing and almost drowned because we didn't know what we were doing.
Oh my God. But nah, when I go out there, first it was to just, get the exercise of it, get my heart rate up and, work all of that. But then, I get out there and it's like, after I get out there, it's like, let me sit here for a minute. And then you just drift away and it's like, you're alone with your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, it's just peaceful. Very, very peaceful.
Okay. What other hobbies do you have?
Talk shows. I love going to talk
See,
shows.
we were going there next.
Yes,
We were
I love going
going
to
there
talk
next.
shows.
Okay. So nothing else that's like physical, adventurous,
Other than traveling, I done zip lining. I want to go skydiving. Um, I love to do happy hours. Stuff like that. Just random stuff. Like I'm good for hopping in my car and just hitting the road and burning up the highway. People used to get on me about, damn, you always gone. And I said, after my last divorce, I said, I'd be damned if I sit still if I can help it. Because she didn't like to fly, she didn't like to travel, she didn't like to do this, she didn't like to do that. So I was held down for a while. So yeah, I finally, went on my dream trip earlier this year to Iceland. And of course, I got the black people don't go to Iceland. Why are you going over there? It's cold. It's this, that, and the other. And I said, because it's beautiful over there. And then once I got over there and started sending pictures and videos, people was like, oh my God, it's beautiful. And I was like, I try to tell y'all, everybody goes to the islands, but it's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you like talk shows?
Yes, I love going to talk shows. And how that came about. So before I started doing the job that I'm doing now, I was doing security. Mm-hmm. And I was on break. And Wendy Williams was on. And the commercial was coming on. Oh, if you like tickets to Wendy, go to blah, 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 and request tickets, blah, blah, blah. So I was sitting there, I was like, I'm going to request tickets to Wendy. So I went online, got tickets to Wendy. A lady friend that I was dealing with at the time, I was like, hey, you want to go to Wendy? And she was like, yeah. So went up to Wendy. People was like, what the fuck you want to go up to Wendy for? Like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. And then them jokers saw me on TV. They was like, oh, yo, next time you go, let me know. I want to go. And that was what? That was 2015. So, okay. Yeah, so I've been several times. I've been to Wendy. I've been to Dr. Oz. I've been to The View, The Chew, Harry Connick Jr., Good Morning America, Kelly and Ryan, Drew Barrymore, Tamron Hall. What else am I missing? Tonight Show, just went there. Also went to Trevor Noah. And right now, Miss Creative, I just put in for tickets for Sherry Shepherd. So hopefully I get them.
So how do you, Miss Creative said, call her so we can go.
Miss Creative, where are you at? Because once these tickets pop, I'm rolling. So yeah, let me know where you at so I can, I can plan it around your schedule. But to get tickets to the show, honestly, There's a website called oneiota.com. And
One
that
more time
has
for the people that didn't hear you.
the number one, IOTA.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
iota. IOTA.
Iota.com. So
So
you
the
can get
number one
number one, IOTA. Yeah,
IOTA.com.
so that's where you can get most of the shows. Tonight Show, you got to specifically put Tonight Show. And you just go in there and request tickets. I don't think Good Morning America is doing in studio anymore, but Sherry Shepherd has her own website. Oh yeah, I went to Family Feud with Steve Harvey for the last show that was in Atlanta.
Okay.
Drove down there, went to the show, and drove back home.
When you're getting tickets to these shows, do you have to pay? Are these free
No,
tickets?
they're free. The tickets are free. What you have to pay is to get there. That's all you're paying. And luckily for me, New York is only like 2.5, 3 hours away, depending on what time you get out the door. So when I take people, we usually leave out like 5:30 in the morning, go up there, hit a show or two, however many shows we got tickets for. We ride around New York, go get some pizza or some Dominican food or whatever, go eat, and then we ride back down.
Okay. Now on the show, all the talk shows you've been, do you get to meet the hosts? Are there photo ops? What are y'all doing? What does it look like? Or
oh my God. So if you've never been to a talk show, it does not look anything like it looks on TV. I mean, it looks like it's on TV, but yes, Miss Creative, Sherry's in New York City. But there's a warm-up guy. They cue you to clap. But like when you hear people say "oh" and "oh" and clapping and standing up, they cue you to do all of that stuff.
okay.
It's usually cold as shit in the studio. Certain shows you can, the host that will come out and talk to the audience or whatever the case may be. Like when I was on the Chew, when they had their show, I was able to take a picture with Carla Hall. I took a picture with Simon. So yeah, they actually was like taking selfies with you. Like they grab your phone, take selfies and everything. But most of the time they'll, stand where they are and they'll talk to the audience during the breaks, this, that, and the other. But most of the time the warm-up guy is, cracking jokes with the audience and stuff like that.
Okay. Are they friendly or are any of them, standoffish?
They're all friendly. Yeah, they're all friendly. Like if they have time to talk to the audience between takes and stuff like that, they'll talk to the audience. And yeah, they'll tell you tell you stories, this, that, and the other. We love giveaways. Got a couple of giveaways. Sometimes like when we went to Tamron Hall, Kenya from the Housewives.
Mm-hmm.
We got her book. Yeah. But I have a whole Facebook page, the Talk Show Junkies. So I mean, go check that out. You'll see all the shows that I've been to, all the shows that I want to be to. Miss Creative, Wendy was not stuck up actually.
She said, I bet Wendy is stuck up.
She was not stuck up actually. Wendy at the show, she was actually cool. So it's like all that other stuff outside the show, I don't know. But on the show, she was cool. And I can definitely say she looks weird in person. Well, she looked weird in person at that time. But nah, Wendy was cool. Wendy was cool when we went.
Any bad experiences on a show?
I've never had a bad experience. Never, ever had a bad experience. The only thing that I don't like about the talk shows is that they don't want you to take pictures when you're on the set. That's the only thing I didn't like. But other than that, some of the shows I got pictures of the set. I don't know how many of y'all watched Harry Connick Jr. when he had his show, but at the end of his show, the audience, they get out there and they do the dance with him. Me and the group of friends that I was with, we all ran out and we was all next to Harry Connick Jr. doing that little dance thing that he did. So that's the closest that I've ever got to one of them. But
okay.
But I'm telling you, if you ever get the chance to go to a talk show, go. Miss Creative, if you're serious, hit me up and we can plan and we can hey go hit a talk show or two and yeah.
Okay, so now we got to tell everybody that you actually have a Facebook group dedicated to the talk
Yep,
shows.
it's called the
Where
Talk
can
Show
they
Junkies.
find it?
It's on Facebook called the Talk Show Junkies. And you'll see all the talk shows that I went to, all the shows that I wanted to go to. Some of them got canceled during COVID. Like I tried to go to Nick Cannon, that got canceled because of COVID. One time Rachel Ray got canceled because of COVID. But yeah, Talk Show Junkies on Facebook. Yeah, you'll see all the talk shows that I've been to.
Wow, interesting. So you just had the idea to go to Wendy Williams, and
Yep.
then it kind of
Yep.
grew its own legs from
Yep,
there.
the bug bit me, and when people started seeing, they like, yo, I want to go, and like I have some people that have gone to with me every time, and then there's some people that they got their wings and flew. A friend of mine that I went to high school with, she actually just went to Sherry Shepherd the other day, and she was like, somebody record it. And I was like, I'm gonna record it because I want to see you. And I had to watch the whole show, and I was able to get a screenshot, and I posted it on my Facebook page, Talk Show Junkie. So
Wow. So do you all do group outings, or is it just a few friends that get
it's
together?
just a few. It's just a few friends,
Okay.
whoever's available. Like when I get tickets, I always request 4 tickets, the maximum 4 tickets. And I, hey, I got tickets to such. Are you trying to go? I got tickets. You trying to go? I do want to get a group. There's some shows that do groups, but I can never get a group of people that can commit. So I'm done with that. So if I get 4 tickets and only 3 of us go or 2 of us go, I'm cool.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So now you done gave everybody the plug on where to
Mhm.
get the tickets. Is there anything special that they need to do in order to cop the tickets? Is it a certain time of day? Is it a certain day of the week?
Oh, the Tonight Show. I can't remember what specific day, but there's a specific day and a specific time for the talk show because that's a very popular show to get on. But for the rest of them, if you see a date that you can feasibly make, just go and request tickets. And you can also, a lot of times you can see who the guest is going to be on that show, so you can decide which show you actually want to go to. So I mean, I just suggest going there, and like if you're close to LA, for the talk shows in LA, try to get those. If you closer to New York and you want to get those, get those. But yeah, just look to when you want to go, when you can go, request tickets, and if you get them, you get them. If you don't, keep trying.
All right. So what other interesting thing don't we know about Soul Touch of the Poet?
I don't know. I'm a loner most of the time. Um, I enjoy people, but I need my space away from people.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that's about it. Other than that, I'm fully transparent. So like, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know what to say that people don't know about me because, um, like if you listen, read my poetry, you'll know a lot of things about me. You may ask for clarification, or if this is actual, does it still apply, or whatever the case may be. I know the audience probably doesn't know because they probably haven't listened to or read my poetry. Is I am a victim of sexual abuse. Um, I was sexually abused several times as a child. And that's something, that's part of one of the things that I write about, and I found strength in. I did go to counseling for it, and that's what made me able to talk about it. But yeah, that's one thing that people may not know about me.
Okay.
I used to
Now,
think. Right.
That's whole questions, lots of questions. So, I mean, and nothing more than you're willing to share, but
Oh no, whatever,
this
whatever.
a relative, a personal acquaintance, of the family or friend of the family, male, female.
It's been all of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. Um,
And I would never know if you hadn't said anything. I mean, I know people don't wear it like a
yeah.
badge of honor, but in
Yeah.
all of, the stories that we've heard you tell, we've not heard that one.
Yeah. The thing about it is when it comes to that, it used to bother me a lot. Because as humans, we all everything that we go through, we in our heads, we convince ourselves that we're the only one going through it and that,
Mhm.
what we're going through is worse than somebody else. To give a story of one incident, when I don't remember how old I was, but my mother, some other family members, family friends or whatever, they were all getting high, playing cards or whatever the case may be. Um, the one individual, he was homosexual. He took me to the other side of the room where it was dark, and he did what he did, and he told me, "You better be quiet, or I'm gonna tell this, that, and the other." Um, and he did what he did. Afterwards, I told my mother what happened, and she laughed. Um,
Wow.
at that time, I took that as, oh, damn, she laughed. But as I got older and started replaying that, they were at the table sniffing. So it was like, wow. Um, it's happened other times, and that's part of what made me a shy person,
Mhm.
made me resistance to opening up a lot of parts of my life. But as I got older, hell, I realized that people go through worse things and people have a harder time dealing with things. And sometimes people engage in reckless behavior, like, and I attribute some of my for the streets from that. And I got to a point in my life to where it's like, you know what, I got to reel this shit in because I'm just wilding all the way out, just
Mm.
wilding out. And when I was in them streets like that, like literally, I don't remember if I said this last time, but I think I did. But I was like, I would have like 2 and 3 women a day, back to back, 2 and 3 times a week. And it got to the point where it was like, it felt like I was giving, literally giving my soul away, doing this, trying to self heal myself, or try to compensate for the love that I didn't get as a child
Mhm.
and as an adolescent. But I got to the point where it was like, that doesn't define me, that defines them.
Mhm.
I can't allow that to cripple me in my mental growth, my emotional growth, and whatever growth. And especially being a father, it's like I still have to, even though I carry that pain, I can't project that pain outwards because I don't want that to be a hindrance into what I need to do and what I want to do in my life. Um, so I've managed to self heal myself for the most part. I still have rough days where I reflect on certain things and why they happened and how it happened and why nobody was there to save me and why nobody was ever to comfort me. So with that aspect, that's another reason why I have a big disconnect with a lot of family or people in general. Another thing, and that's one thing that people don't know about me, and another thing that people may not know about me. I do not, I do not like to be in close proximity of men too often. Like there's a few guys that I'm cool with, we break bread with, and they my dogs, this, that, and other. But in general, if I can help it, I don't like being around men like that. People used to think that was odd because,
I was just gonna say,
yeah.
how did you manage that being in the military? Because it's predominantly, it's male dominated.
Well, I was able to deal with it because of the environment. Now, if it was a situation to where I can control where I was, um, I would choose to be around more women. Um,
Okay.
Miss Creative, I'm not sure what you asking why about, but reword your question so I can answer you. Um, but
I think maybe because you said about not wanting to be around a bunch of men. I think
because and well, if that's the question, to answer that is because I was molested by two men, and one man tried to get me to lotion his body when I was in kindergarten, when my mother and my stepfather was right there in the living room. It was like butterball ass naked talking about come lotion my body, and I was like, I'm running this way. Um, um, but yeah, yeah, yeah. I see that a lot too. Most men be homosexual, but I've never ever had that desire.
right.
Like I'd never like it creeps me out to think of being in a homosexual relationship. And it's no knock on any man out there who's into that. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. But that's just not something for me.
Mhm.
Like sometimes I would find myself like having crazy dreams. Like, what if I was in jail and I got, raped in jail? It's like I literally have mental meltdown, like mini meltdowns, like not crippling meltdowns, but it's like, damn, like it sometimes it makes my eyes water to think, what if I get violated? Um, so yeah, that's something that I could never vibe with. Um, Crazy thing, my last wife, she was a lesbian at some point in her life, and she used to watch male porn, and I would look at that and I'd be like, why are you watching that? She said it turned her on, and it was like it was so disgusting to me. Like I'm having flashbacks of what happened to me as a kid, and you're watching these two guys enjoy this, and it's like, nah, I can't do that. Mm-mm.
Okay. Look, I got so many questions now based on this what you just said.
Yeah.
So when you experience the molestation, did you know that it was wrong when you were going to your mother, or were you just sharing with her?
When it was men, I knew it was wrong.
You knew it
Um,
was wrong.
I knew
So
it was
at a
wrong.
young age.
Um, because I grew up in a time where man, woman, that's what it was.
Mhm.
Um, so for that to happen, yes, that was wrong. And for me being a child, I definitely knew it was wrong. Um, but for me, I grew up in the culture of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, so to speak.
Mhm.
So, when I was touched by women at certain times, it was it didn't feel wrong. But at other times, when it was like, you better do it or I'm a tell and stuff like that, it was like, damn, this is not right.
Mhm.
Um, but the mind and a child mind at that time, depending on the inputs is what the outputs are going to be. So, at times it was, oh man, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then at certain times it was like, oh, this is just horrible. And I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't do this. I better do it. And yeah, so um that was a thing that really, really like drove me. And Miss Creatives, her saying that most men turn out to be homosexuals, some of them turn out to be rapists. Um,
I
but
actually know a gentleman who, I went to high school with that had an experience or a few experiences when he was a small child,
Mhm,
and he went the opposite direction as well. I think he was a little bit more for the streets than you were,
mhm.
according to your account, but he didn't, his violator was a male,
Mhm.
and instead of becoming a homosexual, he was very promiscuous and was sleeping with bunch a bunch
Mm,
bunch of women,
hmm.
like to
Yeah.
the point where he thought he had some sort of
Addiction.
uh yeah, addiction.
Hmm. I used to think I had a sexual addiction, but um, honestly, in my brain, I don't comprehend what an addiction is, for anything, for that matter. And I'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, it's never caused me to want to be a homosexual. It's never wanted me to cause violence to women. It's never wanted me to rape a woman, anything like that. Um, it just, it's just one of those things that it took me in a different space emotionally as a man, to where um my masculinity has been questioned at times, because again, I don't like being around men. I like being around women, and then once you're around certain people, you start picking up certain mannerisms, this, that, and other. But it's like, nah, I'm there's nothing about a band that turns me on. I just prefer to be around women because I feel more in a more nurtured environment. Um, but I love women,
Mhm.
and people can attest to that. Yeah, that boy love goddamn women. Um, but yeah, that's that. But as far as addiction, um, I can never identify with addiction. I know I have family members who are addicted to certain things, and I look at them and I'm like, well, shit, like, I don't understand how you're addicted. And they tell me the things that they've been through, and people say all the time, well, your experience is different from this, that, and the other. And it's like, yo, bruh, like some of the family members that I talk to, oh well, my father wasn't around. Oh well, um, I'm stressed and you don't understand this, that, and others. Like, bruh, first of all, my father wasn't around. The dude on my birth certificate doesn't exist. I got all this different history. I've been molested. I've been verbally abused, physically abused. Um, I've had messed up divorces. I've had heartbreak. I've had this. I've been through bankruptcy. I've been broke. I've lost damn near everything. And it's like, at no point in my life do I feel like I can drink it away, I can smoke it away, I can sniff it away, can I can't fuck it away. So what do I do? And for me to have kids, it's like I have children that depend on me. So I can't allow myself to go into those dark places. And that's just me. People say, "Oh, you're just strong." And it's like we're all strong. Like you just have to remember that you're strong. Like, and the one thing that I tell people is, remember when you were a child. Um, you know, we all have to remember when we were children. When we were children, let's just say we didn't get that damn toy that we wanted, then you get through that? Yeah. As a child, we thought that was the end of the damn world. We went to the store and we wanted the candy or the cookies or this, that, and the other. Didn't you get over that? Yeah. Well, that's different. No, it's not different. It's the foundation of who you are as a person. Need to understand that once you in life, you start getting through these battles that are catastrophic at whatever period that they are, you have to take your brain back to that and say, well, shit, I got through that. Like, hell, like, people go through heartbreak, but they find themselves getting to other relationships, and they
Right.
think that heartbreak is the end of the world. And it's like, I remember, when such and such broke your heart. Oh, that was the past. Exactly, that was the past. So I don't want to hear that you can't get through X, Y, and Z. Granted, people have hard times getting through this, that, and the other, but the mind is a very powerful tool, and you can convince yourself into catastrophe if you allow yourself to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, did your experiences, because you are a parent,
Mhm.
did your experiences as a child affect how you were a parent or how you parented your children? Like as far as the trust issues, because there was, sometimes um people go to the extreme if they've
Mhm.
experienced something because they're trying to protect their child. So because you experience these things, you know, and the people that you trusted were nearby,
Mhm.
were you a little bit more overprotective when it came to your children?
No, because my children were never. So as far as the experience that I had as a child, my children were never around those people. Those
Mhm.
people are, either passed on or not even. I don't have a relationship with them at all. So I never had to deal with that, and my children were always in a an environment to where that was not a concern.
Okay. Did you ever confront your abusers?
No, I did not. Um, I thought about it. I wanted to, but um, I got to the point in my life where it's like, for what? Um, what am what am I confronting them for? Um, sometimes for some people they need that to heal for closure, but for me, it's like, you know what? I have effectively, to the best of my knowledge, have been able to come up away from that and be successful in life to the point to where I don't need to look back there for that closure. I've gotten that closure within myself. Do I forgive those people? Hell no. Will I ever forgive those people? Hell no. That's just not something that I'm capable of doing. But at the same time, I'm not going to go out my way to, voice my thoughts, feelings, or anything towards those people. And if I do run into those people, I'm not going to make it a point to be standoffish. Because again, I'm not around those people, so it's just not a thing to where I feel I need to confront it.
Okay. Wow. You have shared so much tonight. I have one final question, I think.
You think?
I mean, it's unscripted, so I just
Right.
let the conversation flow. And sometimes I'll ask one question and your answer will trigger something else. So then we go end up going down a different rabbit hole. But
Mhm.
last question, possibly.
Possibly.
What are the things that you're passionate about? Somebody asked me that question one time, and I was like, oh, that's a good question to ask somebody. So next time I get the opportunity, I'm going to ask that same.
What am I passionate about?
Yeah.
Um, Peace of mind is what I'm passionate about. Um, and I say peace of mind because I've thought over the years when that question was presented, what am I passionate about? It used to be poetry, it used to be cooking, it used to be traveling. Um, but I find peace of mind is the main thing, and everything else under that is subtopics. Um,
Mhm.
for instance, if I have peace of mind, I can focus on the things that I think about doing, want to do, and I'm able to do it because I have that peace of mind. Um, like when I come home, pretty much every day my house is quiet. This year I've finally been able to make this house a home. It's been a fucking road, but um, and I can share that if you want. But um,
I was just gonna say, I know we saw a little bit of your DIY on IG, so that's something else you do.
yeah, but yeah, because I have peace of mind, I've been passionate about making this house a home finally, and I got this house in 2012. So this year I finally made it a home, and,
10
and
years later.
yeah, because I got it when we was married, and I literally walked away from this house in 2015. I said, "F the mortgage, F my credit, F it all." I literally walked away, and I was not paying the mortgage. She was staying up in this joint with her boyfriend, her kids. Um, I went and got me an apartment somewhere else. Um, then when the divorce was final, I came back to the house. Um, and it was a hot mess. Like if I showed you pictures of what this house looked like, you would be like, get the hell out of here. Like we got one of them big dumpsters and filled that joint up. Um, like it was so bad that she cut the cord to the washing machine, um, cut the
Being
power off.
spiteful?
Yeah. Cut the power off to the house so that there was no electricity in the house. Refrigerator was full of food and all that stuff was spoiled, melted, mildew, maggots, flies. It was the house was horrible. But yeah, it was, and I had to, get a loan modification because the mortgage hadn't been paid in about a year and a half. So, I look, I had to go through it. So, I did all of that and I finally got to that place where, hey, that's where the DIY projects come in. It's like, make this a home and I'm passionate about learning new things like laying floor, putting up walls, running electrical wire, to a limit, um, and stuff like that. I'm passionate about traveling. You know, I've been to Costa Rica, Iceland. Um, I just do a lot of stuff. I'm passionate about my kids. Um, like again, I work in DC. My son was doing soccer and track in Delaware, so I would either get off work at 2, 3 o'clock, drive from DC to Delaware, which is about 2.5, 3 hours, and just making up for stuff that I didn't have growing up, with a father, and even making up, or not making up, but making a presence for the time that I may have missed in his life because her ex-husband was in the Coast Guard and they moved around a little bit. So it's just I'm passionate about bettering myself and making sure my legacy has the mindset to grow. And I feel like look, we've been successful. My oldest son has his hangups and stuff like that. My youngest son has his little struggles or whatever. But for the most part, I feel good because they can, hey dad, hey dad, hey dad, and that's one thing that I'm definitely passionate about.
Okay. Okay, so I lied.
Oh
It
yeah.
wasn't my last. It wasn't my last question because I thought of another one. What does the future look like for Soul Toucher the poet,
Ooh,
the
as far
man?
as what?
The
Oh man.
whatever you want to share.
I don't know. I've been toying with this idea of relocating, but I don't know where I want to go, or where I would move to. I like living where I am because it's central to wherever I need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if it's something that's not central to wherever I need to go, I can easily get there, hop on a plane or whatever. Uh, Future, I want to publish probably 2 or 3 more books. Um, uh, make some more poetry videos. I have this desire to do one man show videos, just acting up, showing off. Some of which I do have on my YouTube channel. Other than that, yeah, I want to do all the things that I didn't do in my 20s.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I jokingly say I got 30 more years on this goddamn planet and I'm gonna live every goddamn year.
I heard that. You got more than 30 years.
I got more than 30, but I
We gonna
jokingly say
live, we 110, 120 around this
yeah.
piece.
But yeah, I'm gonna do
We
that.
gotta have to keep ourselves together.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not
people
having no more
checking out.
kids.
That's a whole other show
Yeah.
that,
Not having no more kids because I got a vasectomy. Marriage, I don't know. It's gonna take one hell of a woman to get me down there. I'm very stubborn, so yes, it's definitely gonna take one hell of a woman to get me to change my mind on that because
Well, Miss Creative is single, and she said that she want to go to the talk show. So
she, she better tell me where she live at so we can make it happen. Yeah, I
I
ain't
keep saying I'm gonna have to get her on one of these shows.
for the streets no more.
You learn your lesson.
I've outgrown that.
All right, all right. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Oh man.
Well, we have been here. Look how 2 hours went by
Oh my.
so fast.
Yes.
So fast. And we kept going. Like it was no downtime where you're trying to figure out where to go next.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here as usual.
Hey, you know what? Anytime you invite me, I'm ready.
I know we're gonna have to like do some collabs and do something,
Some more collabs. We've done some collabs. We gotta do some more.
Yeah, we did some collabs over there. We're gonna have to move some collabs, like bounce back and forth.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He said, she said about something or another. I don't know. We're gonna come up with something.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. Interesting. We learned so much about my YouTube cousin. We're gonna shout out your channels and where everybody can find you. You got so much going on. The IG group or the Facebook group, the IG and all that other stuff. So where can the people find you so that they can keep up with Soul Touch of the Poet?
On Instagram, you can find me at Soul Touch of the Poet _official. You can find me on Facebook, Soul Touch of the Poet. You can find me on YouTube, Soul Touch of the Poet. You can find me on Facebook by my government name if you so choose to want that. You can also find me on LinkedIn under my government name if you choose to know that. You can find me on the King and I Life podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Shout out to Son Soul X.
Yes, and
his partner in crime.
Yeah, and Miss Creative, you can find me in your phone if you give me your phone number.
All right, girl.
Yeah. Other than that, I live in Maryland, so I do travel. Always looking for somewhere new to travel. I got some more states to hit because I said I'm gonna try to hit all 50.
All right.
So traveling is not a thing for me. And one thing as far as getting to know people, especially a woman of interest or whatever, I don't know what too far is. I don't know what that means.
Okay. So single ladies, y'all hear that? He don't know where too far is.
Yeah, because I've dated people around here that they live an hour away from me, and they say, "Oh, that's too far," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're not the type of woman for me, because if you are interested in someone and you're determined to seal the deal, you'll make it happen.
You make it work.
Make it work.
You do what you want to do.
Yep.
So, ladies, y'all go follow him. Keep up with him. Slide in his DMs with your number.
Yeah.
Let him know where you at.
Yep. Oh,
that's it. What?
Another thing that people don't know about, may not know about me. I love historical stuff. So like in Maryland, on the other side of Maryland, we have the slave side of Maryland, what I call it, over where Harriet Tubman is from. So I love, doing stuff like that.
Where you showed the picture that you put on IG earlier this week?
That was actually probably an hour and a half away from where Harriet Tubman was born.
Okay.
But that's one of those slave areas. It was a one-room school that was open from 18-something to 1958. 1958 was actually the last time they held classes in that school. Wow. I love stuff like that. And I think that as a people, we need to invest our time in looking up these gems, because a lot of our stories are disappearing. They're not being passed down. And the school system is trying not to teach this stuff. So, stuff like that I find very intriguing.
Mm-hmm. Well, y'all, I cannot follow that up because he just dropped a gem at the end of the show, and we are gonna close on that note. We gotta teach these children our history, keep our history alive and passing on to the future generations as far as we go, because we got to know where we come from in order to know where we're going.
Yeah.
So yeah, on that note, we're going to close it on out. This has been another edition of the Book of Genesis. We just popped in here on a Thursday and did our thing, but we'll be back again with some kind of content, some kind of guests. I don't know. Who knows what's going to pop up? Tune in, share the stream, like, add a comment after it's over. Share it with somebody. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get all the notifications, because who knows when we're going to pop up and what we're going to pop up with.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. And I will see y'all next time.
Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Book of Genesis with Thanks for tuning in to the Book of Genesis with your host, Jennesis. If you would like to be a blessing, would like to be interviewed, or if you or someone you know would like exposure for your business, call us at 708-595-7500. Again, 708-595-7500. Email at Jennesis@thebookofgenesis.com. That's Jennesis @thebookofgenesis, Jennesis.com, or contact us by regular mail at P.O. Box 40, Moni, Illinois 60449. Thank you again for listening to the Book of Genesis.